All right, welcome to today's session. The date is March the 23rd. We're here at 11:30 on a lovely Saturday morning. My name is Amy England Aglio. I am the founder of Ladybug Mobile Services and also the founder of small business and notary get-togethers. The intention for these get-togethers and these networking events is to support our community in a way that is free. Because as we've talked about before, there's just so many things out there that you're not necessarily going to know if it's going to help your business. And my intention is to bring that people that have helped me grow and helped me focus my business and be successful. And of course, successful is a matter of subjective terms, right? But Miss Catalina here that you're going to get to meet is one of those people. I have put in the chat box my Calendly if you would like to have any kind of free consultation for anything from the notary services, wedding services. The newest and most fun thing that I'm doing right now is I did open up a new version of my company that has to do with website design. So I'm kind of really excited about that, which is very much tied into today's message. Also, the Facebook group that, again, all of this stuff is given to you completely for free. And the last link is the notary get together. So if you want to sign up for any of them, you don't necessarily have to be part of the Facebook group. They're two separate entities, if you will. But drum roll, I'm going to go ahead now and pass it over to Catalina. Catalina is an amazing human being. She does all sorts of things. I'm going to let her introduce herself, but just letting you know, she really knows her stuff. And I think she's a major influence, not only in my life, but a lot of people out there. So Catalina, take it over.
So sweet, Amy. Well, I love that you're doing all of this community outreach and kind of sharing information. And I love that you're doing it in a free way because I do think that it's so awesome that we get to learn from each other. I know I have learned from a lot of people on the internet. I learn from you every day. And I think it's great that we have a place to kind of share some of those things, the good, the bad, the things that oh my God, I made this mistake. And also the things of, look, this has worked for me so that you can kind of grow together. So today, Amy actually asked me to kind of talk a little bit about the rebranding and refocusing. And we kind of, my husband and I kind of, because he's basically my team partner in all of these ventures. Even though so far my face, and he's somewhere here, so I keep looking at him. It's been my face out there as Teacher Catalina. There's a lot of work that he has put in the background. So it really has been our venture, our adventure, really, and we're moving into something else. So we kind of put together a small, sort of small, it's a little bit detailed, guide for small businesses for you to kind of get some of the ideas that we have been going through as we are kind of rebranding ourselves and refocusing a little bit more. In case that's something that you are going through in the moment or that you plan on doing maybe later on. So this is basically how we started. And to be totally honest with you, Teacher Catalina was born out of boredom during COVID. We were stuck. My son back then, I don't know, he was probably 9. He wanted to do a YouTube. And we're like, you know what? Let's try it. Why not? So we started at that point, just kind of playing around. I am a Spanish teacher, and we've decided, let's try to make it educational. And we started putting videos out there, not knowing how to record. The first video, if you actually go back in our YouTube channel, the audio is awful. The echo is everywhere. I didn't know how to be in front of a camera. We're just winging it. But we really never thought this was going to go anywhere. We're like, well, we're bored. We're COVID. We're stuck here. Let's do something fun. I think we're a family that can never sit still. So we're always coming up with something different and kind of trying to figure things out. Little did we know that Teacher Catalina was going to grow to what it is today. We are at 15,500 subscribers, and it keeps growing. So it's really interesting to me sometimes, even when I take my son to a trampoline park and somebody approaches me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're that famous YouTuber. And I'm like, I'm not famous. I am on YouTube, but I'm not famous. But it kind of puts those things into perspective. Of course, to my now 12-year-old son, that is like the coolest thing. Like, wow, yeah, we're kind of YouTubers kind of thing, right? But more than anything, what Teacher Catalina did was it taught us so many things about YouTube, about brands, about your online personality, website design. And it has created a passive income for us that really was not the goal at that point. The goal was to, I wonder if two people can watch this video. And now we have, I don't know, how many views do we have?
70,000 a month.
70,000 views a month. So see, I'm the actress kind of thing. I'm the teacher, and he is the person that does all of the background information. So I have no idea what goes on, but that's about how many views we're getting a month, and it keeps growing. So this is something we were passionate about in that moment. We loved it. We still love it, but there's something that we are even more passionate about. And that is basically traveling. Traveling has always been part of our lives. I'm from Colombia in South America. My husband is from the Netherlands. So there alone, there's like a bunch of land in between for us to explore. And we love to travel. It's something that we've always done. So it's always been in the back of our mind. We've never kind of quite figured out how to do it. And I think in part is because we both hold a traditional 9-to-5 job. The traveling part for us can only happen at certain times, especially for him. With being a teacher, it makes it a little bit easier with summers and spring breaks and stuff like that. But with his job, we have to kind of rely on PTO and when can he take off and all those things. So we finally decided, you know what, we always keep coming back to this traveling idea. And we tried it in Teacher Catalina. We went to Ecuador, not last year, the year before. And we did do a vlog of exploring the Amazon and all of the cities that we went. And that went really, really well. But we want to really kind of delve into traveling. So we decided to go to Paris beginning of January, I believe, middle of January. It was totally kind of unexpected. This is really how all of our ventures happen. We don't plan them. The idea just pops up and then we kind of run with it, right? So my husband planned a trip to Paris. I had no idea where we were going, no clue. It was exciting. I didn't know what to pack. And eventually he did mess up. He left some traces on the computer and I found out that we were going to Paris. And of course, as we started talking about it, we're like, you know what? Why did we kind of share all of the information that we're passionate about traveling and maybe write a travel guide, write an actual book? And maybe we can start an Instagram and all that stuff. And of course, we think big, and then we're getting overwhelmed. And then we're like, no, let's kind of narrow it down. Let's focus. And maybe let's talk about this guide. We can come up with a guide. Now, we just started this on Instagram. It's called Bass and Catalina Travel Guide. I think when I took that screenshot, we were at 90. Last night when I updated it, we're at 220 followers. By now, we're at 241. So it's growing. I mean, we've only been at this for 2 weeks, okay? So I want you to kind of know that we're on the baby stages, but I think a lot of the knowledge that we bring from Teacher Catalina and YouTube and social media is making this transition a little bit easier, which is kind of what we want to share with you. So who are we? This is my husband, that's Boss. And he has always been in the hospitality industry, has worked in cruise lines. He has worked all around the world. He's a chef. He has worked at different hotels, big hotels, little hotels, all around the world. So that expertise we feel is important to bring to the table when it comes to traveling. I'm just a traveler, I just like to explore. I like different things, but I don't have that critical eye when it comes to, hey, is this a good hotel? Is this good food? So we bring that kind of different flair to that. So we kind of wanted to make sure our followers knew, first of all, that we come from two different worlds, geographically, emotionally, culturally, everything. And then we wanted to kind of give our information as far as what we bring to the table. So, one of the things that we find out when we travel is he's European, Hispanic. Sometimes our cultures kind of clash. It was so funny when we were in Paris. One of the things that I thought about and I had read about and researched about is that we have to kind of watch out our volume when we speak in France. And most of the time, a lot of the articles that I found out were about, Americans speak so loud, Americans talk so loud. Well, they obviously haven't met a second American or a Hispanic woman because we speak even louder, right? So I was already kind of like, okay, I have to watch my volume. I have to be careful. And it was so funny because it was something I was conscious about. And as we're sitting in this restaurant, boss is like, hey, I can't hear you. And I'm like, I'm trying to tame my volume. I'm trying to be quiet. And he's like, I can't hear you. So, it was different things that for him, he has gotten used to. He speaks at a normal volume, not me. So,
I can't even imagine that situation there, Catalina.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, it really kind of cracked me up. So again, I'm from Colombia. I haven't from I'm happy to share anything when it comes to educational things, my knowledge for Spanish, and we kind of mentioned the founder of Teacher Catalina, because these are things that we want our followers to know, because especially with traveling, I guarantee you there may be somebody that may want to learn Spanish. So both things could connect. That's not our goal, but it could connect. And then we talk about some of the things that we do together, like we visited 40 plus countries together. We love to meticulous plan everything. It's probably more the teacher in me than anything else. Bus is a little bit more just like go with the flow. And we love to hunt for like those awesome experiences. When, like, for example, we're going to Italy this summer. We want experiences that are different. We want to get our hands dirty and learn how to make pizza. We want to make gelato. We want to get to know those hidden gems and those activities that are going to be so different. So basically, it's traveling with a touch of Latin spice and a European charm. What that brought us to was this. This is basically our baby right now. We wrote a book. It's 286 pages. Yeah, 286 pages, where we talk about our whole trip to Paris. We give you tips. We give you, again, ideas of, hey, you may want to be careful with these things. Make sure you always say bonjour. And the things that really, truly made our trip unforgettable. I don't know if you've ever heard somebody talk about Paris, but in my experience, I had heard horrible things about Paris, that it was dirty, that the people were not welcoming, that you had to worry about safety and all of those things. Now, I am not going to say that there weren't any pickpockets. Yes, we could. It's a big city. Those things happen. And me being from Colombia, I am aware of those kind of things often. I don't think the city was dirty. And I, believe it or not, can tell you today, after living Paris myself, I think the French were super warm, kind, and welcoming, which most people think it's crazy when I say it, but they were so nice. And I think it had to do with the preparation that we had done, a couple of the things that we had prepared for. So we want to share that with you in the guide. That was just a little introduction, a little bit longer, but a little introduction as we get into the rebranding. So there is a handout that we've created for you to take notes if you want to. You don't need it. It is not required. You can just listen to us and go through this. But if you want to take notes, it is available. You may think you're putting the link.
I lost my mouse there for a second. Yes. For those of you that don't maybe necessarily use Google a lot, when you click on the link, it's going to force you to copy it into your Google Drive. Okay. So just letting you know. And thank you, Kristen, for letting us know that you're starting to kind of brand yourself. So this is a great conversation so that you learn from the things that Catalina and I have had to go through.
Okay, so this is basically kind of what we're going through and kind of talk about some of the things that have worked for us. So why? I think the main thing that you have to think right now is, why do you want to rebrand yourself? Why do you want to rebrand your company? Is it because of business evolution, your products or services have changed significantly? Maybe there was a market shift and your original target audience is no longer the best fit. Maybe your image is outdated. Your current branding doesn't reflect the company that you are today. Or maybe you want to get yourself a competitive advantage. You need to stand out in a crowded marketplace. Or simply, which is truly what happened to us, you just want to rebrand yourself, your interests and your focus have changed, and you are starting either a new venture or you want to start fresh. So you have to kind of figure out why, because that is going to really set you up to the next step as we go through this. So again, for us, and as we go through this, I'm going to be sharing our own experience. For us, really, we're like, okay, we love teaching. I still do it every day for my career, but we want to focus on traveling. And that's just where we want to put our entire energy on. So think about really, why is it that you want to do it? You know, maybe you want to update your image. I love, for example, what Amy does with her brand and the ladybugs. That makes her stand out. Everybody knows she's the ladybug lady. When she sometimes shows up somewhere, I can see people looking at her car. That alone, that's really good marketing. And not only is it just eye-catching, it also gives you a competitive advantage. Think about it this way. If you're looking for a notary and you may have seen her car or her card or her website, you already make that connection with that ladybug. So you may not know enough about her, but that will help you quite a bit. So type your why in the chat box. Why do you think you want to rebrand? And if you don't feel comfortable, that's okay. But why do you think you want to rebrand?
Yeah, I'll share mine. So this is something that Catalina and I have constant conversations about, because I find that it's really hard to have a niche market when you're a notary, and we're also so type A kinds of people that we want to do everything everywhere all the time, and it's just beyond, right? So it's very difficult to market when you do all the things. So this is something that Catalina has been talking about with me for as long as I've had this company open. And I'm like, but I can't do it. It's so hard. So after a couple of years of kind of living that crazy world where you do everything for $25, I came into this year, and that's this is tied into that vision board training experience that we did face to face, because I decided this year I'm going to focus on digital marketing. I'm going to focus on community support and wedding officiating. So those are the things that, it's still a lot. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Catalina's brain is like, no, but I know it's still a lot. But at least for me, I can focus my energy in those three areas, right? So maybe have a different social media channel for the wedding, or maybe have a different email marketing campaign for, one of these select things that I'm trying to do. So that's my why. Kristen and Stephanie, do you want to share, either pick up the mic or put it in the chat box? I know I've talked to you both and I kind of know the answer, but do you want to share?
Well, I guess I'll go because I was wondering. I'm thinking about rebranding later on, just because I do have, and I know you know this, the paralegal background with some of the estate planning that I usually focus on for the notary business. So
yeah, and Kristen had shared. Kristen, oh, so awesome! Thank you so much for going and put your mic back on. Put it back on. Well, I'll share for Kristen. So I met her last week, and she was talking about the fact that she's now doing this full time. So she's trying to focus on a couple of different things. Loan signing is one of the things that she's trying to do, but she's also trying to work on her Google business profile for the general notary work. So those are two really good areas to focus, and it's still under the notary umbrella, right? It's not like all the other things that notaries can do or have added to their businesses. So I like Kristen's strategy, where it's kind of right now, she's going to do it full time, but it's under the notary umbrella.
That's awesome. Good. So it sounds like you guys do have an idea of why you want to rebrand. And we definitely want to have that crystal clear. And I put here some crystals. I know Amy loves crystals. I love crystals. But we need to use them to remember the following thing. There you go. It has to be crystal clear, because clarity is going to guide every aspect of your rebrand. So after you know why, you have to define your focus. And again, this part is kind of like what Amy was talking about, that niching down. It's hard, guys. It's really, really hard. But that is what's going to make you stand out. So what are you truly passionate about offering? For us, and again, I was telling you, I'm going to relate everything to what we're going through. For us, it was about traveling. What are you truly passionate about offering? The number two thing you want to think about is, what problem does your ideal customer urgently needs to solve? I put myself in the customer's shoes prior to starting this, and I wanted to find those hidden gems when I travel. I don't want to go to the Colosseum and just look at it in Rome. I want to experience it. I want a local to tell me about it. I want to go to a local's house and cook something. I want to be immersed in the culture. So I want to be able to find those hidden gems. Yes, I've looked at Airbnb experiences. Yes, I've looked at 3 other websites. They're not easy to find. So that is the problem that we are solving for us. And where's the overlap between your passion and a profitable market niche? For us was, okay, we love to travel. We love to find those hidden gems that people are looking for. Let's put it all together into a travel guide and offer that to people. So super important that you think about these three things. And here's another way of looking about it. Again, pie chart, teacher here. Passions, your customers' needs, and what is the potential for profit. And again, I want to encourage you to really take the time to really go through this, because it makes a big difference. To be totally honest, Teacher Catalina was kind of like a trial and error, and it worked. It worked, I think, because we niched down for the beginning. I'm a Spanish teacher. I'm going to teach Spanish, and boof, here we go. This one was harder. You know, traveling is such a big niche, kind of like it is being a notary. You offer so many things. So now you kind of have to start and narrow down to become an expert in a specific field so that people can start recognizing you for that. Once you've done that, you want to come to rebranding essentials, okay? So think about your brand name. Does it still fit your focus? Teacher Catalina really didn't for us. I mean, yes, I could teach you about travel, but there's also this connotations about teachers teach, and traveling, I wanted to be fun and exciting and different. So we wanted to kind of get away from that. And even though Teacher Catalina, my husband, was part of it, I really wanted him to be part of it this time. His face, his voice, you know, it's both of us experiencing life from two different perspectives. So think if that name still fits your focus. Think of logo and visual identity. Maybe you need a fresh look to reflect your new direction. Do you need a new logo? Do you need a new website? Do you need to update your new website? Think of messaging and tagline. How are you going to communicate your value? Why do you want people to follow you? And think about brand voice. How do you speak to your audience? Are you going to be formal, playful, etc.? In Teacher Catalina, I was formal. I'm teaching you. I'm the expert. This is what we're going to learn. We'll go through this. Here, we're being more playful. I still watch very much my image, because after all, I'm a teacher that I don't want anything to kind of interfere with anything. So I still watch, you know, I don't feel comfortable posting this, or I don't feel comfortable posting that. But we're much more ourselves, much more playful. We allow some of those bloopers to kind of go out there. So super important that you think about a logo, a website, and your social media presence. Recently, I was actually I was listening to a podcast. I love podcasts as I'm driving or I'm waiting for my son in car line. And it was so interesting to me because there was an episode that talked about how people nowadays are not going to Google to search for businesses. And I don't know if you know this. Those are the older generations, the newer generations. And I'm not talking like about our kids. I'm talking about those that are just becoming adults, may need a notary, or that are already into adulthood. They're going to Instagram. That is how they're finding businesses. And it's really interesting because my husband, even though he's a little younger than me, he still uses Google. I am an Instagram person. Like anytime that we've planned a trip or anything, I go to Instagram. I don't go to Google. I want to see real life people, real life situations. And don't get me wrong, I understand some things are, you know, change on Instagram and on social media, but I have the opportunity to see what the experience somebody's going through in social media than in a curated Google Doc. So think about it. Your Google profile is still super important because you, right now in this time in life, you're serving both. You're serving older populations and younger populations, but also start thinking about that shift that as we're going through, most people are relying on social media to find businesses. So it's important that right now you have one foot on one and one foot on the other one, and you have a presence in both so that you can attract the most amount of people. Here's how I do it. When I go into Instagram, I search for whatever I'm looking for. I may be a notary. Let's say I go look for a notary. I'll come up through your profile. I'll look at the things you've posted. Do I connect with you on a personal level? Is there trust that you made me gain? Cool. Then now I'm going to click on your website. That is the next thing, because now I want to see your professional part. What do you have to offer? How can I contact you? How can I book something? So those would be the steps of a person like me right now trying to find a business. Now, Something we have learned through experience is don't try to put yourself on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok all at the same time. You're going to drive yourself crazy. It is too much. With Teacher Catalina, we did YouTube and only YouTube. We kind of delved our foot into Instagram, but we very quickly realized it was too overwhelming to do both. Now we know that Instagram is where people go to buy a product or to buy a service. That's why we're focusing on Instagram. So we are now focusing on YouTube for a new venture. That was for Teacher Catalina because YouTube is more apt for teaching. For selling a product or a service, Instagram is better. So that's why we went ahead and did that. Once you've gone through all of that, the implementation and launch of your website. Think of your website update. Does it reflect your brand across all pages? Do you need a website from scratch or do you need to update it? Your marketing materials, update everything, business cards, brochures, etc. Social media, revamp your profile. Make sure it's aligning with your new brand. Internal rollout, educate your team on the brand new guidelines of your new business or your new idea or your new focus. And I know Amy is actually really good about this, about launching events and kind of bringing the community in. Announce your rebrand with a bang. I mean, do a celebration. Use that to promote it in social media, the excitement of the community joining and all those things. So this is really when you've done all of the hard work before, thinking the why, coming up with the niche, the focus, thinking about the things that you need. Now you want to kind of implement it and launch it because this is what's going to set you up for success. So speaking of those things, if you need a website, I'll let the tall expert see. I have to move the computer.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. So over the last 5 years with Teacher Catalina building multiple websites on multiple platforms, we have come across a lot of problems of building this and overcome these. Now I can build websites on any platform and have. We have built Teacher Catalina up to over 150,000 page views in 1 month. And Teacher Catalina is seasonal, like most websites will be. Teacher Catalina thrives actually in the summer mostly, like travel websites do too, and slows down during exactly the winter break. What we learned there, we want to share that with other people, especially like help you guys build websites, but we don't feel right like what we saw in other companies of charging crazy amounts. I mean, thousands of dollars upfront before you even know if you like it. We are going to give people a 30-day free trial, get your website live. You can see it and then decide, hey, I want to keep this. This is awesome. I may want to make some changes. That color is not perfect for me. Let us know. Amy is gonna give you a form and she's going to be our business front. She's going to give free consultations of what we can do. Amy, if you want to explain that.
Sure. I have used these two amazing humans for a lot of marketing education in a very informal friend sort of way. And as you heard Catalina earlier, she was talking about her husband as like the back office, right? So she has been the face for a really long time, but it would not have been as successful had Boss not been there, working on the videos, working on the marketing side of it in the back office, if you will. So I'm borrowing Boss. He is also going to be my business partner, or is my business partner, I should say. So yeah, if you want any kind of free consultation, I really, truly, in my heart, am doing a lot of these things to help the community. And really, I just put my Calendly up on the and the chat. If you would like to have a free consultation, I am actually using the platform that we are going to be selling. And I am going to, funnily enough that you say that, Catalina, I am going to be announcing like the whole rebrand of my website, probably if not this weekend, the following weekend, to kind of show you the things that we can do. I've seen it happen multiple times to many, many notary friends where go to Fiverr or, some person who promises they're going to do this website quickly. It takes weeks. It's not even pretty. It's not SEO friendly. It's not going to bring you more business. And then they're left to try to maintain the website by themselves too. So yeah, so again, that's my calendar is there. If you would like a free consultation, I will look at the website. I'll have Boss look at the website. We'll give you some advice. And I do feel we're coming from like all different perspectives, right? They're coming from the marketing business side. I'm coming from understanding the notary side, or really any small business. So yeah, we've had a couple of customers already that are super happy, which is actually why this kind of door opened for us inadvertently, right? Like we started doing it, people came to me for help, and the door kind of opened by itself. And Boss and Catalina have been such an amazing foundational support. So yeah, I'm super excited. So yeah, thank you for letting me borrow your husband.
Oh, no problem.
Yes. So Amy will set up those consultations, and you can find us on notarywebdesign.com.
And I included all of our information and their information. I'm like pointing at both of you on the handout too. So that is there available. I will tell you, me personally, as the face of the brand and the teacher and the having to be on YouTube, I didn't have the time to be trying to learn how to make a website, how to work Instagram. You have enough on your plate that sometimes is good to be able to delegate some things. If we were able to at this point, as we're growing more and we're seeing it, we're starting to delegate other things too, because you want to stay true to your brand, and you are the one that has to be able to focus on your brand and delegate the things that can be done by somebody else. So let's talk about building relationships, because one of the things that we have learned, see, now I can lower my screen a little bit because he's like 6'4" and I'm like 4'11". One of the things that we have learned about being in the virtual world and communicating with others, and we all nowadays have to be in the virtual world, right? Because a lot of our customers come from the internet, whether it's social media or the internet. You have to learn how to build relationships. I have really learned a lot about some of those ways that Amy is building relationships, which I love, like seeing some of those get-togethers and some of the like, hey, let's get together and do vision boards. It may not be fully related to her niche, but guess what? People are seeing her as a human being. People are connecting with her. And from there, other business ideas have come up. So it's important that they get to know you through that. So how do you build relationships? Relationships are built on trust. Okay, so me standing there like a bobblehead telling you, this is what you have to buy my guide. First of all, people don't like to be told what they need to do. So I don't want to stand there and tell you, this is why you have to buy my guide. I want to show you why my guide may be the right thing for you and why we truly believe in that. And then let you make your own decision, whether you want to buy it or not. So I want you to get to know me, get to know us as a family, as a couple, and experience some of those hidden gems with us through Instagram, because then I'm like, ooh, you know, if I'm traveling to Paris, I actually want to do some of the activities they did. Let me go ahead and get that guy. So how do you build trust? The easiest way to build trust is through social media and your website. That is how you're going to build the trust, okay? Your website allows you to introduce yourself in a more professional way, but the blogging part of your website allows you to kind of share information that may be relevant to that customer and also build that relationship. And then on social media, think of it as your more informal way where you can get to be yourself a little bit more and you can interact directly with those customers. One of the things that social media does is, just like its name say, it's being social. So keep that in mind, because it makes a difference. You putting all of your information out there and not interacting with people that comment, not interacting with other people, that is not the point of social media. So you're not working on building relationships and trusts. You have to make sure that you set some time aside. Now, social media can be overwhelming. I'm not going to lie to you. It can take over your life. So you do have to think of ways to create boundaries. Maybe, you know what, I'm going to put aside 15 minutes to respond to comments. That's it. I'm not going to worry about posting. I'm not going to worry about looking at my DMs. I'm just going to go ahead and respond to comments. Maybe I am going to use the scheduler app and schedule some of my post ups so I don't have to think about it when they go out. They just go out. Maybe Saturday is the day that I have that I'm going to sit down and write some blogs, because otherwise, if you don't set boundaries, this is going to take over you. You're going to burn out and you're going to be giving up on that. So super important that you set some boundaries. But do keep in mind, social media is meant to be social. That's how you're going to build trust. So let's talk a little bit about Instagram, which I think is the social media that actually really applies to all of us, because you're trying to sell a service or a product. So you want to kind of make sure that you're making the most out of it. So I kind of wanted to share with you some of the things that I have learned. The main thing is you have to be you. You have to love who you are. You have to stop with any inhibitions. Just be yourself. If you're the silly person that likes to make jokes and laugh, then be that person. If you, I don't know, like Amy does, love the ladybugs, go crazy with the ladybugs. Let them get to know you for who you are. You know, just be yourself and improvise in the minute. Think about how is your product or your service is different. For us, we wanted to say our guide is different because it's interactive. It literally, we created a book that allows you to use your phone and scan a QR code, and a video of the experiences will pop up. We also created a part where it's not just for you to read, it's for you to go ahead and write down and plan out your trip. So you're going to Paris. I want you to start thinking about some of those masterpieces that you want to see. Plan it out before you go, or maybe in that 6-8 hour flight that you have. I can picture you sitting there. I would have loved to have this book as I was sitting in that 8-hour flight and read it and write down, you know what, when I get to the Louvre, I want to see this and this and this, and have a list of when you get there, you're organized. And then maybe create a list of those hidden gems that you want to do. That's why our guide is different. So what sets you apart as a notary, as a business owner? Why would I want to choose you? Think of that and portray that on your Instagram and your social media. Use the stories on Instagram to talk about your product. That is the place where you want to do some soft selling or show some of the things that you have to do. You know, I wanted to tell you that you can explore Paris through pictures. My husband bought a bunch of guides before we went, and I'm looking at those guides and they're Word documents, no pictures, just lists of things. So that's what tends to be out there for Paris guides, and they're selling. They're being sold crazily, like lots of them. I wanted to tell you that in our guide, you're going to find a ton of pictures. I'm a visual learner. I know as a teacher, people learn through seeing things more than through reading. I know, and Amy, for example, if you send her an email that's too long, she's not going to read it. She's going to skim through it. So I wanted to create a guide that you were able to see. Maybe you don't want to read all of that. Maybe, oh my God, I love that picture. That's where I want to go. Now I'm going to read the caption. So it's a visual scape with room to make it your own. More than just a guidebook, we wanted it to be your Paris story in the making. So there's spaces to dream, to plan, to reflect. We know nowadays everybody's planning their photos because they want to share the gram and they want to come up with different poses. So we're giving you the time after we've taught you all of the places that you could go to take Instagram pictures or Facebook pictures, and giving you ideas of poses and anything. Now we want you to write down, hey, you know, I really want to make sure I take this picture. So kind of getting you organized and giving you a space to kind of plan and reflect. And again, this isn't just about the sites. It's about capturing your journey. What is important to you? Are you tempted to try a hands-on cooking lesson? Well, maybe then you want to write that down. More often, I think we travel in a way where we just want to hit the big things, and we're missing on those things that really make a trip incredible, which is the people. You know, it's that human connection, and it's that trust, and it's that building relationships. So basically that's what we're focusing on. You know, we even show you that you can scan the QR codes if you want to see an entire video of an experience. One of the things that people have really loved recently is we took a backstage bakery tour, and we were able to make croissants, we were able to make baguettes, we were able to make a couple of different things in an actual bakery as the bakers were baking and the croissants were coming out. And we don't speak French and some of the bakers don't speak English. So it was such an amazing experience. And we wanted you to be able to see that. And there's something so amazing about leaving that bakery with your bag full of baguettes that are not the prettiest looking because you're not a French baker, but that were made with amazing French ingredients and the way that they tell you. And then you take them on a picnic in front of the Eiffel Tower. You know, those are the experiences that we kind of wanted to create. Think about how that applies to your situation. I want to share this reel with you. It's a couple seconds. It's going to give you an idea of how you could promote some of your businesses. Notice how we're just telling you about the guide, but we're not selling it to you. So I'm going to stop share really quickly because I want to make sure I share it with sound.
Yeah.
Yourself in Parisian streets.
Where each corner whispers a secret.
Paris isn't just a city. It's an invitation to the extraordinary.
If your heart looks for that magic touch,
Let yourself wander and see what wonders unfold.
So there were a couple of things that we wanted to do with that. Number one, letting you know we have a guide. You know, we now have 240 something followers. Hey, if you're traveling to Paris, you may be interested in this. We wanted to show you the book, but we also wanted you to hear our voices, not just a background music, because that's starting to create trust. That's starting to getting to know us. You know, boss's Dutch accent, people think it's cute. I'm just used to kind of being loud and crazy at this point by being on camera. So, but it's going above and creating those relationships where you're more than just a book, you're more than just an Instagram. Include yourself, include your voice. Instagram tips that we want to kind of focus on for you. And I don't know if you knew this. There were a couple of these things that I have been learning. I've been taking a lot of Instagram courses and working with a lot of influencers lately to really kind of bump this up. The number one, that's where Instagram tells you is your name. That is searchable, guys. That is super SEO important that you don't put just Boston Catalina because nobody's going to look for Boston Catalina. You have to include what you're offering. What do you think people are looking for? So for us, if you're looking for a travel guide, if anybody in Instagram looks for a travel guide, our profile will pop up. If you're looking for unique adventures, our profile will pop up. So make sure you think about, by the way, you can only search this every 14 days. So check for spelling, figure out if that's what you really want to use, okay? So super important that you do that. Something else that we learned, you see where it says entrepreneur? You could select a different field, but Instagram will limit you on the songs, on different things. So we found out through research that entrepreneur is still within the business category, but it doesn't limit you on some copyrighted material that is basically what's trending. So that's why a lot of people will pick that as their field because it's not going to have issues with that. The second part, number two, it's your bio. So this is not, they don't care how many dogs you have, how many kids you have, what do you have for breakfast. This is a place what you need to put, what can they expect from you? If I pop up into your profile, what can I expect from you? How are you going to solve their problem? And what will they will learn or get out of following you? So we were very, very clear on, hey, we focus on uncovering hidden gems and unique experiences. And we're here to offer you travel guides to fuel your wanderlust. So very clear of what the expectations are. Something else that actually has been really awesome as I've been playing with this Instagram account is this part that is called the story highlights. The story highlights are at the front of your Instagram, and most people divide it by like different categories. But one of the things that I have been learning is you have to be the guide. Think about it this way. If I if I happen to stumble upon one of your posts, then now you got me, right? I'm interested. I click on it and I go to your bio. What is it that you want me to see? Guide me. Again, tell me what you want me to do. Start here. This is where I'm going to share my story and reiterate what you can expect from me. So again, this is me in the sense of my niche, not how many cats or dogs I have, unless your niche is cats and dogs. So this is me. And I also want to reiterate one more time what you can expect from me. About us, introduce yourself. but only again, what is relatable to your niche. Why are you in this niche? How did you come to it? And then offers is basically going to be your services or products. So our guide. So anytime anybody comes to our profile, maybe they don't watch any of my reels at that point, but they know they will be able to see this is what I offer. There's the Amazon direct link. They can go to it. So this is something that you want to kind of think about. I didn't do this with Teacher Catalina. I have seen an amazing change when it comes to this. Again, I'm super impressed of how much people have been looking and watching and seeing. You know, it can tell you how many people have liked it, how many people have seen it. And I can see how guiding somebody, hey, start here, then go to About Us, and then this is our product, how you start building that trust. It's not, here's my guide, buy it. You don't know who I am. So again, be a guide. When you click on start here right now on our Instagram, this is what you get. I'm telling you who we are. You already know what's going on. And this is clearly what you can expect from us from following. The reality, guys, is you don't want somebody to follow you that is not interested in you, because it's going to kill your engagement. It actually hurts your profile. So if you are clear from the beginning, this is what I offer. You either like it and follow me, or you don't, get out. It makes your life better and it creates clear expectations. So if you're looking for authentic travel, hidden gems, unique experiences, and genuine encounters, follow us. If you are looking for just, say, travel deals, that's not necessarily what we're focusing on. There is another Instagrammer that probably focuses on travel deals, and they're great about it. So go follow that. So keep it clear for them. This is, again, what you see on our start here. Who we are, you already saw that. So that's exactly what they see when they click on who are we. So now they know where we're from, our background, what we have to offer, all that stuff. And it's important for them to see it. And of course, within our guides, our button for our guides, that's where we have the reel and information about the guides that we've shown you before. So tips for Instagram posts. All Instagram posts should have a hook, a caption, and a call to action. That is what will make your post stand out. So here I kind of broken that out for you. This is actually one of our reels. I don't know how many times it's been shared and saved, which I did not expect from a very small account to have that much reach. But this has been one of those where people have loved it. And again, I really thought hard about the hook, about the call to action, about the caption. I've applied it to all of the other ones after that, and it truly does work. You want to come up with a really good cover. Again, kind of silly, be yourself. I'm crazy. I don't mind if I put hats on it. I don't mind if we look ridiculous. That's us. Maybe you want to put ladybugs all through it, or maybe you want to be yourself. Make it clear and have a good title. Here's the hook. Forget the Eiffel Tower. This is the real Paris. So think about, as you're scrolling through, you want to find a hook that is going to make you stop the scroll. So immediately you're like, forget the Eiffel Tower. What? This is the real Paris? What are they going to show me? You're hooked. So then it goes through the whole process of what I'm showing you that we did at the bakery. And then at the end, what do you want that person to do with your reel? Do you want them to save it? Do you want them to comment? Do you want them to like it? Do you want them to share it? Decide, because you have to guide them through. So I have learned right now, Instagram, what is really prioritizing is shareable content. Shareable content. It's awesome if they like it. It's awesome if they save it. It's awesome if they comment on it. But if it's shareable, Instagram is really going to prioritize it. So what did I say? Hey, let's spread the word about this hidden gem. Share this with your travel crew. And a lot of people started clicking that little airplane button to share, 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 share. You know, maybe you want to say, hey, if you know somebody is getting married and needs a wedding officiant, share this with them. Hey, did you know that now we have online notaries? I don't know, but this is something I've actually shared with Amy a lot. Most people don't know about that online notarization. Hey, share this so everybody knows that you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to go to the bank anymore to get a notary. Share it so that people are aware that you offer that kind of things. And then I know it's little here, but this is my caption. So I went ahead and included, craving a taste of authentic Parisian life, ditch the tourist traps, and join the behind the scenes bakery tour. I told you exactly what you can expect. You'll learn the secrets of French baking, watch croissants come to life, enjoy delicious breakfast spread from the freshest pastries you do. This is the Paris that you won't find on the guidebooks. Well, except ours. So a little, hint that this is the kind of activities that you will see. Help us reach more travel lovers. Share if you enjoy this reel. So you want to try to encourage that. Now, you don't want every reel to be share, because it's not going to produce the same thing. Another one of our reels that got shared quite a bit was this one that has our passports. It says, we hear voices. Now, remember, I told you the content could be relatable, it could be funny, or it could be informational. So I happened to land upon this audio that it sounded like people screaming, and I knew it was trending. So we had this video of us playing with the passport. So all I said on that one was like, hey, our passports are screaming to be stamped. We hear voices. And share if your passports speak to you as well. So people started sharing that one too, because it's a relatable, funny content that could apply to anybody. So keep that in mind as you're doing things, because it's something that you want to do. So again, your post should be educational, entertaining, or inspiring. That's literally what you are looking for. Educational, entertaining, or inspiring. If it doesn't apply to your niche, don't post it. Make sure it falls within one of those categories. Stay consistent. Give yourself time to grow. I am the most impatient person you're ever going to meet, and this is hard for me. It was hard for me. We had made the decision that we were not going to transition Teacher Catalina into travel, that we were going to start everything from scratch. Starting a new Instagram gave me anxiety because you already have a certain amount of followers and a fan base. But after trying a few things with them and with that fan base, I knew they were there for my teaching. They weren't there for my traveling. So I wanted to get a true fan base so that they would be thoroughly interacting with my content because they were happy to see it, not because, oh, there's this teacher lady, now it's traveling. Unless it relates to Spanish, I don't put it in the teacher. So when we went to Ecuador, that was relatable. Absolutely. Now we went to Paris. Not really. I haven't really included that. So give yourself time to grow. We learned this from YouTube. YouTube didn't grow for a while. So you do want to think about that. Instagram is the same way. Websites are the same way. And then once you've given yourself enough time, then it's time to measure your success. So check your website traffic. Are you attracting more visitors, or do you need to change the strategy? Maybe you need to write more blog posts to get more of your content out there. Is your engagement increasing? Do you have increased likes, comments, shares? I expected 0 comments, likes, and shares on Boss and Catalina travel guides. And sure enough, the first, I would say 12 posts, there was not a lot of engagement. There were no people there to engage with. Now, as you grow and as Instagram pushes it out, I have seen, okay, this is definitely increasing. Increase in followers, increase in likes, increase in comments, and increase in shares. Leads and conversions. Are more potential customers taking action? Are you getting more business out of it? And your brand perception. Has it changed? Have you checked and monitored the online sentiment? We know we are here for the long run, okay? So this is basically how we summarize our journey. Our why, our interest and focus change. Our focus is to sell the travel guides. Truly, everything we do on Instagram is to sell our travel guides at some point, whether it's now or in 10 years. We know this is not going to be, we're not going to sell 20 guides tomorrow. That is not going to happen. That is being realistic. And we saw it with YouTube. But if we can grow a YouTube with 15,000 followers, subscribers, and create a passive income, now we know it may take a couple of years to sell this, to really create a brand. We have given ourselves 10 years to create a passive income for this. I have 10 years till retirement. So 10 years is what we've given ourselves to see this grow. That is realistic. The first couple years is going to be just creating that brand. Here's our branding essentials. We focus on the website. We focus on Instagram. We are using Instagram to build relationships. We are staying consistent. Right now, we are posting daily on Instagram. We are measuring success. It may not be monetary wise right now, but it could be engagement. It could be creating those relationships. So that is basically that. Now, here's something that I want to tell you about. This is basically our travel guide, and it's available on Amazon. We have a paperback, we have a hardcover, and we have a Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can actually read it for free right now. We put it on the free part of the Kindle. If you don't, and you want to order one, you can do through Amazon. I think Amy is going to post the link. And here's something that I want to kind of tell you about. Whether you're planning a trip to Paris or you know somebody that is, we definitely recommend it. But here's another idea that I want to kind of put on the back of your mind that applies to your niche. We wrote this book all on our own. We published this all on our own, 100% created on Canva. And you can do the same thing too. So think of maybe you've been wanting to write a book, or you have a course that you have online that you want to transfer into a book or create a workbook or something like that. This is a great idea. This is a great way for you to do it. The initial investment is the time that you're going to use to create this, which took us a while. We started before we went to Paris, during Paris, after Paris. It went a lot of hours into that. But think about it that you don't need a publisher anymore. Amazon allows you to publish all of this information on your own. And honestly, Amazon gives you the whole world as customers. You don't have to worry about not being able to get it to somebody. So think about it from that perspective. Another idea to kind of put in the back of your mind and kind of help you think. And of course, if you do decide to buy one, it would help us a lot. Leave us a good review. We're kind of working on that right now. And we're super excited to kind of see it grow. So with that, last idea about writing a book, which I know Amy talked about maybe doing like another presentation to talk about that to give you more detail. With that, we just want to thank you. We want to invite you to follow us on Instagram, Bass and Catalina Travel Guides. We want to invite you to check us out on Amazon, whether, again, you're planning a trip to Paris or not, or to use it as an idea to create your own book. And now I'm just going to open it up for any questions you may have.
Well, first of all, before we open up to questions, thank you so much for coming and sharing all of this amazing knowledge. I can tell you for sure, I've got some things to be changing. So besides questions, I would love to hear, because I know we're a little bit, just a couple minutes over. Kristen and Stephanie, do you want to share any changes that you're going to make? I will share mine first. I am going to go and redo my my call to action highlight buttons because after my new vision for this year and for the business, I haven't changed all my social media things. So I'm going to go back and make sure that if I do have a follower, it's someone that wants to be a follower, because I do have that issue. People come follow me and then unfollow me. And it's not like I'm posting all the time either. So I don't know why they get so annoyed and unfollow me, but there you go. That's one for sure thing I'm going to be doing. Chris and Stephanie?
I'll go. So I did not realize about the Instagram either with the following. So that is definitely going to be my first thing as well, because I just thought, oh, somebody just wants to follow my page. But now I know there's things to watch out for when I don't just accept them.
Yeah, well, and here's something you also want to think about, and I don't know if you guys would ever get into that. I had a chance to do with Teacher Catalina where brands reached out to me to promote whatever product they have. The first thing that they ask to look at is your engagement rate. And so that is immediately when you're going to do any deals. And for us, I know, like for travel, at some point it may come up with a partnership with a hotel or something like that. I want to be able to show that our engagement rate is good. So it's interesting. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, is how engaged that following is. So recently I've been looking at some articles where brands talk about how they prefer a micro influencer over a huge influencer, because micro influencers tend to have a more close-knit relationship with their followers.
That loyalty is there for sure. And they definitely do check.
If you go on Google and you type, check my Instagram engagement rate, you can put it up and it can it'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, Kristen, pretty much. It means interacting by sharing, by commenting, by liking, all of those for sure.
And here's something to kind of put out there with that I think it will help you at the beginning is you cannot look at other people in your niche as competition. Look at them as your allies. At the end of the day, the customer is going to make the decision based on personality, based on what aligns with them. But you, as for example, right now, all as notaries, you all need that engagement. Go and engage on each other posts. Go support each other. Create a notary community at the beginning to help each other. And quite honestly, maybe later on, you know what, I can't take this signing right now, but I already also know you and have a relationship with you. So I'm going to send that customer to you. So you can create relationships within yourselves to kind of help each other out. I have noticed a lot of the people that are following us right now as we start the new Instagram, they're also travelers, which number one tells me they're in the travel industry. They're trying to grow their traveling Instagram. But I know at some point they're probably going to want to travel to Paris or Italy, which is the next guide that we're going to do. So they're also potential customers. But they understand my niche. They're passionate about that. So we are very much interacting with it. Instagram doesn't care if you interact with people in your own niche. They just look for engagement.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. And that's one of the things that I learned immediately. First of all, I really truly am a universal knowledge believer that if something is not meant for you, don't grief it. Don't be sad. If it's not meant for you, it's not meant for you. So I've shared this with both Stephanie and Kristen. LSA did not work for me. I'm not getting customers. I'm not going to grieve it. It is what it is. But the really cool thing is something that I didn't think about, this whole web design side that I wasn't really pursuing. The door open because it's a natural place for me, right? Like being able to design websites, help people with social media, and not at Catalina's level, just basic level. But those things, they have opened for me and I wasn't even looking. So just like you, Stephanie, you're going to see that your knowledge in estate planning is going to open up all of those doors because you already have that knowledge base. So yeah, I don't see any of my notary friends as competition. I see them as allies. I send, tons of referrals when I can. If I can't do it or if it's not my specialty, absolutely. Yeah. So everything Catalina is saying is 100% true. So thank you so much, ladies, for participating with us. And thank you so much, Catalina and Boss, for sharing your knowledge. My intention for these sessions, like I said before, is to share the people that have helped me be successful, which to me is subjective, right? Like successful can mean something different to all of us. So I feel successful. I've been able to get out of a lot of the debt that I have with this little business. So, and I hate calling it little because my business, my Ladybug business. So thank you so much. Very, very, very happy to have had a little bit of a Saturday morning with you all and have a wonderful day. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the recording. And if you need to go, please go. But thank you again to all three of you and Boss in the background there.